Justin Baldoni, girl, come sit closer, because this whole situation just took a turn and it's actually kind of insane. So listen, it's Friday morning, everyone's just trying to get through their day, and boom, this update drops. And I'm telling you right now, if you've been following this whole Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively drama, this is one of those moments where you just pause and go, oh, this is getting real. Because Justin Baldoni just scored multiple wins in court. Not small ones either, like actual movement in his favor. And you know how rare that is in messy celebrity legal fights. Now, let me break this down properly because the tea is layered. So first of all, the judge basically said Justin Baldoni's defamation claims against his former publicist Stephanie Jones can move forward. And this is big because up until now, people were kind of side-eyeing his claims. Like, okay, but can you actually prove anything? Well, now the court is like, yeah, maybe you can. And if you remember, Stephanie Jones is the one people have been whispering about from the start. Like, she might be the one sitting right in the middle of this entire mess. The texts, the leaks, the drama, all roads somehow lead back to her. So the allegation here is that Stephanie Jones took private messages from Justin Baldoni's team and somehow got them into Blake Lively's side. And not just casually, there's talk of some really sketchy legal maneuvering, like fake subpoenas, weird document handling, the kind of stuff that makes you go, wait, how is this even allowed? And now the judge is basically saying, okay, Justin Baldoni, you've shown enough for this to go forward. That's not a win you ignore. And Justin Baldoni's team, oh, they're feeling it. His attorney, Brian Friedman, came out saying they're very happy with the decision and ready to keep pushing, which obviously, because this is the kind of ruling that gives you momentum. And let's be real for a second, defamation cases are hard, like really hard. You don't just walk into court and win those. So for Justin Baldoni to even get this approved to move forward, that says something. Now here's where it gets even messier. Because while this is happening, Blake Lively's side is doing what people in legal circles call a document dump. And girl, when I say dump, I mean dump. We're talking nearly 1,000 potential exhibits. 1,000. Who is reading all that? Who is organizing that? That's not a case, that's a whole library. And Justin Baldoni's team is basically like, what is this? How are we supposed to go through all of this before trial? And they're saying it's overwhelming, unnecessary, and honestly, kind of suspicious. Like, is this about presenting real evidence or just flooding the system so nobody can focus? Because think about it, if you bury important details under mountains of paperwork, things get missed. And that's exactly what Justin Baldoni's side is hinting at. So they asked the judge for more time. And guess what? The judge said yes. Deadlines pushed. More time granted. Another small but important win for Justin Baldoni. And now there's a new court date set for early April where both sides are going to sit down and basically figure out what's even happening anymore. Because right now, it's chaos. Also, Blake Lively's team reportedly listed over 40 potential witnesses. 40. At this point, it's not even a trial, it's a full production. And Justin Baldoni's team is calling that out too. They're like, this is excessive. This is not normal. And honestly, yeah, it does feel like a lot. Now, here's the part that's really interesting. There's still a chance that some of Blake Lively's claims could get dismissed before this even goes to full trial. And I know that sounds weird because you'd think she would want everything to go through, right? But some people are saying maybe not. Because if her claims get dismissed early, she doesn't have to take the stand, she doesn't have to go through the full trial process, and she can still come out and say the system failed her. It's like losing but controlling the narrative. And in Hollywood, narrative is everything. Now, I'm not saying that's what Blake Lively is doing, but people are definitely talking about it. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni, he doesn't really have that option. Because from the beginning, he's been the one trying to clear his name. he got hit with all the backlash early on. People were already forming opinions, and now this is kind of his chance to flip that. And honestly, with these recent rulings, it's starting to shift. But don't get it twisted. This is not over, not even close, because both sides are locked in now. And with this much ego, this much public attention, and this much at stake, settling quietly, that feels less and less likely. And you know what that means. This whole thing is about to get even messier. Justin Baldoni is really out here flipping the script, and the crazy part is, this might just be the beginning of it all. Because once you step back and look at everything happening at once, it's not just one case, one claim, one moment. It's like multiple layers of drama stacking on top of each other. And somehow Justin Baldoni is coming out of this round looking stronger than before. Now, let's talk about this document situation again, because I don't think people fully understand how wild it is. Blake Lively's team didn't just submit a few extra files. They came in with nearly 1,000 exhibits. That's not normal behavior. That's the kind of move that makes people question intent. And Justin Baldoni's team, they're basically saying, look, we're not even sure half of this is usable in court, which is a very polite way of saying, why are you doing this? Because realistically, no jury is going to sit there and go through 1,000 exhibits. That's not how trials work. You pick your strongest evidence, you present it clearly, and you build your case. This feels like something else. And then you add the 40 plus witnesses on top of that. Girl, at that point, it's not just about telling your story anymore. It's about controlling the entire courtroom environment. And Justin Baldoni's side is not having it. They're pushing back hard, saying this is excessive, unnecessary, and honestly, a bit chaotic. But here's where it gets interesting. The judge is actually listening. Because not only did the judge allow Justin Baldoni's defamation claims to move forward, but he also agreed that the timeline needed to be adjusted. That's not something judges just hand out for no reason. That means there's at least some level of credibility in what Justin Baldoni's team is arguing, and slowly, piece by piece, you can see the tone of this case shifting. Now, let's talk about perception for a second, because this is where things get really real. At the start of all this, a lot of people had already picked sides. Some people heard Blake Lively's version first and immediately thought Justin Baldoni was the villain. Others saw holes in the story and leaned the other way. But now the court is starting to weigh in. And when a judge says, yes, this claim can move forward, that carries weight. That's not gossip. That's not speculation. That's legal validation that something might actually be there. And that changes how people look at everything. But at the same time, it doesn't automatically flip opinions either, because once people choose a side in celebrity drama, they don't move easily. You could show them 10 court rulings and they'll still say, yeah, but I feel like, and that's the problem with cases like this. They're not just legal battles, they're public opinion battles. Now, here's something else that's been floating around, and I need you to think about it carefully. There are rumors, just rumors, that the judge might dismiss some of Blake Lively's claims before this even fully goes to trial. And if that happens, that's huge. Because that would mean certain accusations don't even make it to the courtroom stage. They get cut early. And like I said before, that could actually work in Blake Lively's favor in a very specific way. Because she could avoid the stress of trial, avoid cross-examination, avoid being put on the stand, and still walk away saying her truth wasn't heard. It's complicated, it's strategic, and it's very Hollywood. But on the other side, Justin Baldoni doesn't seem like he's trying to escape this. He's pushing forward, he's letting the case expand. He's going after defamation. He's responding to document dumps. He's asking for more time to properly review everything. He's playing the long game. And honestly, that says a lot about his mindset right now. Because let's not forget, this whole situation already impacted him publicly. His reputation took a hit early on. Projects slowed down. People started questioning him. So for him, this isn't just about winning legally. It's about restoring his image. And you can see that in how his team is moving. They're not rushing. They're not panicking. They're building something step by step. Now let's talk about the timeline, because this is where things start to feel very real. The trial is expected to be around mid-May. That's not far, like at all. We're talking weeks. And in that time, both sides have to finalize arguments, review evidence, prepare witnesses, handle motions, and deal with whatever else gets thrown into this already chaotic situation. And if Blake Lively's team keeps adding more material, that just makes things even more intense. Because every new document, every new witness, every new claim, it all has to be addressed. And Justin Baldoni's team is basically saying, we're not going to rush through this just to meet a deadline, which again, makes sense. Because one mistake in a case like this can cost you everything. So now we're at this point where both sides are digging in. Blake Lively's side is expanding. Justin Baldoni's side is pushing back.